flight sim releases for the ESP world. The guys over at Malaysian Flight Sim Group, these guys have been on quite the roll lately, so they are back in the news once again with the release of another Japanese airport. And not only are they supporting prepared V3, V4, and FSX, they are also once again supporting FS9. Guys, I really like you. I really love supporting it. Like, I'm talking about your products for the fact that you have just simply gone, you know what, we're going to support everybody, and I really appreciate that fact that you do that. Having said that, this is a rendition of Kagoshima Airport in Japan, which serves the northern Aizu Islands of that in Tokyo, Japan. It's operated by the Tokyo government, located just under 2 nautical miles south of the Kagoshima village office. Airport was first opened in 1992 and has continued on with domestic operations ever since. Fairly small airport, so sort of you're just operating these islands offshore from Japan. But otherwise, yeah, very interesting sort of piece of scenery to go into. Having said that, though, as I said, I know I really support the guys, the fact that MFG is supporting all sorts of platforms. At the same time, it sort of does show with the fact that, with some of their buildings and some of their scenery uses, with the fact that they are actually looking at things which simply don't quite always look up the way that you would expect to have, because they are perhaps not as detailed as we've seen in some of the other renditions of the various ESP platforms. At the same time, in Prepared V4, the dynamic lighting effects that have been put in are absolutely outstanding, look absolutely stunning. The buildings themselves look great, the airport textures look pretty good, the surrounding sort of photo reel that's been put into the islands here are leave a little bit to be desired. But the actual airport itself looks great. As I said, it looks great and designed to be optimized with FTX Global. So overall, I must say a pretty good little deal with this one. Coming in at a fairly good price, coming in around about $14 US, or your nearest equivalent available now from SimMarket. And another piece of ESP release news this week, or perhaps a bit of re-release news. The guys over at Just Flight have brought their Piper PA28R Turbo Arrow over to Steam for FSX Steam Edition. Now, previously they had released this product some time ago, it has been available from their website for quite some considerable time now, as compatible with all of the ESP platforms. That's FSX, FSX Steam Edition, and Prepared version 2, 3, and 4. But they have decided to bring it over to the Steam platform for those who may only use FSX Steam Edition. Now, this comes, of course, with a reduced price. As I said, it is only $35 US instead of their standard price of $42 US, which is, it acknowledges the fact that it is only exclusive to one platform, but it is still the very highly detailed rendition of this aircraft these aircraft that we come to expect from Just Flight, and performing absolutely flawless in the FSX Steam Edition environment. So, yeah, not going to go too much with them because we have covered it off here before. But as I said, if you are a single platform simmer, then for FSX Steam Edition, then probably you get to save a bit of coin here picking this one up from the Steam Edition store. If, however, you are a multi-platform simmer like myself, you're probably still going to be better off picking it up from Just Flight directly, or from your favorite flight sim retailer, just simply for the fact that then you do get to install it in whatever platform that you choose. So there you go. But if you are, as I said, if you are only a Steam Edition user, pick this one up from either your Steam Edition store for $35 US or your regional equivalent, available now. Alright, moving on to other flight simulation platforms and moving into the world of XPlane this week, but sticking with the Steam Edition side of things. So the guys over at Aerosoft have brought their recently released Daytona Beach International Airport to their Steam Edition version of XPlane 11. Coming in at it's the same price for this one. It's coming in $30 US, so no real difference here from getting it directly from your favorite flight sim retailer, whether it be Aerosoft or xplane.org store, or whether you want to pick it up on the Steam Edition. The only sort of difference being that in the future, whenever XPlane 12 comes out, you will, of course, if you pick it up on Steam Edition, you will not be able to migrate across to XPlane 12. So yeah, just probably something to be aware of. But if you do want to pick it up, as I said, pick it up now from Steam Edition for $30 US, available now. In other X-Plane 11 releases, the guys over at H Simulators have brought a new scenery pack out. Now, the guys over at H Simulators, you may remember them, they brought out their Grand Arctic Scenery last year, which sort of goes through and puts in a whole slew of, so I think it was about 18, 15, 18 runways and sort of airports and heliports for the northern parts of sort of Greenland's and Canada, and a part of the world that's very much forgotten as part of default X-Plane scenery. They've now turned their attention to South America and actually going through to the Great Amazonia region with their Great Amazonia Part 1. Now, this pack comes through and sort of covers off a vast scenery region going from Brazil through Venezuela and into the Rio Basin. I am absolutely certain I got that wrong. But as I said, it comes through a whole slew of bases, giving you 10 airports and private and public airfields, including ones used by commercial traffic, Brazilian Air Force traffic, as well as private operations from remote mining strips. So you get quite a few different range of ones here, as I said, from small mining grass strips to sort of semi-major sort of rural remote airfields through to the Boa Vista International Airport and Brazilian Air Force Base. So quite a bit of varieties included for this one from these guys. Overall, the quality's looking pretty solid. The photo reel that goes underneath them leaves a bit to be desired, but the actual detail of the airports themselves, particularly the Boa Vista airbase, is quite impressive and quite detailed there. So complete with custom models of the Brazilian Air Force Tucanos, which is pretty cool to see. So now this one is available from the xplane.org store. Normal retail price for $25 US, currently on a sale at the moment for less than 18. So if you wanted to pick this one up, this might be a great time for you to do that. Available now from xplane.org. In other X-Plane releases, we saw another scenery release from the guys over at Turbulent Designs. So they've brought their MBS International Airport to X-Plane 11. Now, previously they'd released this into the ESP platform world, and they've now converted it and brought it over to X-Plane 11. Now, this is a fairly busy airport in Michigan, serving the cities of Midland, Bay City, and Saginaw, which is a pretty interesting sort of area. It's about 100 nautical miles northwest of Detroit and about 200 nautical miles from Toronto and Chicago. So it's a fairly centralized airport, and serves a bit of international traffic coming from Canada, but primarily, so the international traffic primarily comes from Canada, but otherwise it services quite a lot of domestic traffic coming around in the world. It was originally built out of a World War II airfield, U.S. Army airfield, that was then decommissioned and is actually now just outside the airport boundary, and can still be found and has been modelled in this scenery design as well. So it's a 3-runway airfield. You've got 60-centimeter photo reel and 20 square kilometers of coverage area, as well as they're bringing across they're attempting to bring across, and fairly successfully it looks too, their real Flora technology into the X-Plane 11 world. So they've had a lot of success with it in the ESP platform world, and I know there's been talk about them bringing it across into X-Plane, and it's looking pretty good and pretty amazing that they've brought it across so far now. So you can pick this one up for £20 or around about $25 US, or the original equivalent, available now from the Turbulent Design store. Alright, continuing on with more X-Plane 11 releases, and back to the guys at Just Flight. So they have brought their Cessna 152 over to X-Plane. So after a very successful release for the ESP platform worlds, they have brought it over now to the X-Plane 11 world. So this one's coming in at $42 US and looking absolutely amazing, like it really does. There's a lot of details gone into this one. So Cessna 142 is sort of the predecessor to the 172, being the fact that it's a tricycle undercarriage aircraft designed for a bit of cruising, a lot of and sort of training as well. So a fixed tricycle landing gear, 4-cylinder engine, fixed pitch propeller, great aircraft for touring and training. So it's a really fascinating aircraft. A bit of personal connection. I know my dad's flew quite a few number of hours of these in when he was learning to fly. So fantastic little aircraft. A lot of history behind it. A lot of fascination. If you're into GA aircraft, this is probably going to be a fascinating one for you. As I said, this comes to us once again from the combination of the Just Flight in-house team in partnership with Thoranda Design to bring it over to XPlane 11. As I said, it's a two-seater, and so it's a bit smaller than the 172, and look absolutely outstanding. It takes full realization of all the XPlane 11 features, including full use of the PBR materials, HD textures, environment reflections, HDR lighting, and a whole heap of animations included as well, with the typical, as we've come to see, little pop-up window to control all those animations. So yeah, a lot of interesting stuff there. Looking forward to seeing this one in the skies. As I said, if you wanted to pick this one up now, you can pick this one up for your XPlane 11 sim, coming in at $40 available from Just Flight or your favorite flight simulation retailer available now. Alrighty, moving out of X-Plane, moving into another chapter of flight simulation. Of course, we're moving into the world of DCS. So, the long talked about next expansion combat zone has been released in the form of the Persian Gulf map. Now, this has been one that I know a fellow YouTuber of mine, and dear friend of mine, Belgeode, has been waiting a long time for, especially because this will mean that the release of his long-awaited, more naval aviation-orientated add-ons modules will be coming out very, very soon. Specifically, of course, the F-18 Hornet and the F-14 Tomcat. Now, this map is insanely large. It gives you over 200,000 square kilometers of highly detailed maps, including primarily, though, the Straits of Hormuz, but covers off multiple parts of the Gulf and Arabic states, including Iran, the UAE, and Oman, as well as large portions of the Arabian Sea. So, going to be a lot of offshore naval operations going on here, as well as a lot of land operations can be done as well. Now, it includes 17 accurately recreated air bases in Iran, the UAE, and Oman. All air bases include standard landing aids and everything as much as can be deciphered, including TACAN, VASI, approach systems, and VOR and navigation systems, all included. You've got detailed cities are included, including Dubai, Abu Dhabi, and Bandar Abbas, with all their unique buildings, including some of the amazing, incredibly crazy buildings in Dubai and Abu Dhabi. You've got stronghold islands, including Abu Masara, Siri, and Tunab. Islands have been included. Iran, UAE, and Oman have also been added to the DCS World Nations that have been included for maps. A whole heap of new varied terrain and vegetation, cargo ships, super tankers, pleasure craft, whole heap of stuff come through here, as well as Iranian liveries for existing ground and air units have all been included. Like, there is an stupidly insane amount of stuff that have been included in this map and looking absolutely amazing. Now, they've also confirmed as well, which is a bit surprising to me, as they'll be adding a further expansion to this map as well, and that'll be free for all users, which will include the Kerman and Shiraz air bases in Iran. So there's an insane amount of stuff here, looking pretty damn amazing. If you're into, as I said, if you're looking forward towards the Tomcat and the Hornet, you're pretty much going to have to get this one. I know the guys over at Veo Simulations are also doing an update, part of their update for the Hawk will also include liveries for Arabic operators for the Hawk as well, so looking damn amazing. So you can pick this one up now from the DCS eShop. You can pick this one up now, available now for $50 or your regional equivalent, available now. Alright, moving out of that into another one. Now, this is an interesting little quasi-arcade, quasi-flight sim title. So this is 303 Squadron, The Battle of Britain. Now, this comes to us from a developer called Atomic Jelly. Now, this is a interesting little, and sort of published by Playway Sims. So these guys, Playway Sims are the publisher behind the Car Mechanic Simulator series, Train Mechanic Simulator, and a whole heap of Mechanic Simulator series. And 303 Squadron is this interesting little hybrid between story, arcade flight sim, and the sort of mechanic genre, where you can actually go through, you can actually sort of, earn skill points to actually sort of, you can tweak your aircraft, you can change the components of it to give you better performance and things like that. You also go through a story about 303 Squadron, which is a Polish squadron that was serving in the Royal Air Force. So when Poland was annexed by the Germans and the Russians in the beginning of the Second World War, refugees sort of fled. Many of them fled to the United Kingdom and would go on and enlist in their services to fight for the freedom of their country. And this details the story behind them and actually goes through and actually sort of it actually goes through real historical engagements that the squadron underwent, with a little detailed history about the pilots and the squadron and their activities. So it's a really interesting, fascinating sort of snapshot into this period from a non-common perspective, particularly from those of us in the Western nations. So yeah, very very interesting look at this one. I had my hands on hands on the an early demo of it, and it had mixed feelings about it. But from the look of things, it's definitely come a long way. One interesting integration is the kill cam that of course was made famous by the Sniper Elite series, has actually made its way into this, which is kind of interesting, kind of quirky, kind of interesting, kind of cool. So yeah, if you're looking for some form of like an interesting single player sort of story, this might be one for you to pick up. Currently now, its normal price is $20 US, currently on a early access launch special of $18 US, available now on Steam. And other simulation releases moving from the skies now down to ground level, with the guys over at Trainz A New Era have released a couple of content packs over onto their Steam as well as their main store. So the first one they've released is a new Trainz route section, which is the Rostovsky to Uzel route. So this is part of the North Caucasus Railway going in the Rostov region of the Russian Federation. So this is one of 16 branch roads of Russian railways, and it goes through the southern and northern Caucasian federal districts of Russia, and from the Azov and the Black Seas west through to the Caspian Seas in the east. So it's a very interesting little road, and this particular rail line, and which it traces its history back into the 1920s, and it's a very highly detailed rendition of this part of the railway, including a lot of detailed renditions of a lot of the cities and towns that it passes through. So very interesting, and one thing I noticed about the Trainz content is Trainz content is very very detailed and usually very very affordable as well, and this is no exception at all. So from the guys of N3V Games. So this one's available now for $25 US, or your original equivalent, available now on Steam or direct from the Trainz A New Era store. In the other release from the Tain group, we saw the release of their RZD and UZRIC wagons. I have no idea what all those acronyms mean. I really do not. However, they are part of a package of rolling stock, passenger and freight rolling stock, which is used by Russian railways in integrating when they integrate to European track systems. So when you're moving because the Russian standard railway gauge is 1520, whereas the standard European track gauge is 1435. So they do have different sets of wheels and different sort of tracking for this one. These particular tracks, though, some of them are exclusive for use on the Russian tracks, some exclusive for the European tracks. So it's a very interesting, very highly detailed set of rolling stock for you to add in to your trains and your customization for your Trainz A New Era experience. Now, if you're wanting to pick this one up, this one comes in with 12 different pieces of rolling stock. It looks like 6 for each of the different track widths. All different passenger wagons for this one. So no rolling freight, sorry, or passenger wagons, sorry, no freight here. And so you're coming in for $20 US, available now, again, either direct from Steam or direct from the Trainz A New Era web store. Alrighty, moving on to other releases in the train world, but this time moving different platforms to Train Sim World. So Train Sim World saw its latest release of its newest route, which is the West Somerset Railway Route add-on. So this is a very much a detail going into the British heritage sort of railway systems for this one. It actually goes through many of the Britain's longest standard gauge railway is what this one features here in West Somerset. Now this gives you to actually drive, it puts you at the helm of a diesel gala train to actually take passengers through the region to show off the beautiful countryside and give them a experience of what British Railway once upon a time. Now this includes 2 trains as well as the route. It gives you a British Rail Class 47 mainline locomotive and a British Rail Class 9 diesel shunter, with a full featured simulation of the diesel-electric systems of both of this ones, as well as a whole heap of real-world data, physical measurements of the train and the surrounding countryside, all included. You get 20 miles of the preserved West Somerset railway route, including from Bishop's Lanyard to Minehead. As well as I said, the two different types of trains, British Rail Class 47 and Class 09. You also get British Rail Mark 1 coaches in two different liveries included, as well as a whole heap of other collectibles for you to find along the way and in your first-person mode. So, really impressive set, this one, coming in at a very affordable price as well. Normal price of $25 US, coming in as a launch special of $19 US, or your regional equivalent, available now on Steam. Alright, moving away from the permanent way and moving to the lakeside with the guys, once again with Dovetail Games releasing if you're there Eurofishing, they've released their newest DLC, which is there for the Lilies expansion. So this is a 10-acre fishing venue, scattered with, as you can probably guess, scattered and full of lily pads, that is known for its big fish and provides a challenge with all the weeds present and the fish stocks being quite low. So very interesting sort of technique that would make things a bit more challenging for you as a virtual fisherman. This includes a whole slew of full of specimen-sized fish, abundance of lilies on the surface, 20 new boss fish, and 10 new achievements representing 11 different species of fish in the lake. So very, very beautiful, graphically beautiful looking scenario, this one, with some new challenge fish for you available now for $11 US, or your original equivalent, available now on Steam. And moving on to a very different form of simulation this time, with the guys over at City Skylines coming out with a couple of new content releases this week. Their main content release was their Park Life expansion. So their Park Life expansion is in their words, a playful new expansion. Well, let's be honest, the whole title is just playful. I love going back every now and again. I've never got a city very far in City Skylines, but I just love going back to it. I have more of a love for this title than I ever have for SimCity, and considering the amount of time I sunk into SimCity in its various forms over the years, it says a lot. Anyway, yeah, so City Skylines Park Life includes a whole heap of new parks, city parks, zoos, nature reserves, and amusement parks to be included for your city, as well as being able to use those annoying sort of bits of dead space in your actual city. You can actually assign those over to green areas, and actually gives you a lot more popularity with your virtual denizens, as well as being able to enact some new policies and give some new walking and sightseeing tours and tourism enhancements as well. So a lot of random stuff coming in here as well. The second release that's also come out this week from the guys at City Skylines is a country radio pack, which includes 16 original new songs in 4 subgenres for the City Skylines radio. But you can get this as a combo pack, so you can pick up Park Life by itself for $15 US, or you pick it up with the the additional sound radio packs for $18 US, available now on Steam. Finally, folks, I want to round out the NovaWrap this week with a bit of, not gonna lie, this news, although we kind of knew it was coming, it sort of hit me kind of hard. Some of you may know or may have heard of someone, a very, very famous YouTube gaming commentator and presenter by the name of TotalBiscuit, also known as John Bain. He is a legend in the YouTube gaming community, quite frankly. He never really dabbled much in the simulation genre, but in terms of online gaming, he was one of the biggest names out there. Sadly, a few years ago, he was diagnosed with cancer, and he fought it, and he continued to produce content for many, many years. Sadly, this week, he lost his battle, and he passed away. His loss has left a huge hole in this community and hit me far harder than I was expecting. Long-time viewers of my channel would know that I started this channel many years ago out of a couple of reasons. Chief among them being that I needed a vent of my own sort of thing I needed. But I also, there was a I'd noticed that there was a distinct lack of independent and honest voices in the flight simulation genre on YouTube. There was a distinct lack of it at the time, and I back in those days I also dabbled a little bit in flight simulation. No, not flight simulation. In strategy gaming, and TB was a man that a commentator and a reviewer and a man that I spent a lot of time watching and listening to, and he is part of he was a big inspiration for me to actually start producing my own content and actually doing what I do now on YouTube. So, and I remember he held a video and a sort of a live chat. He's held many of them, and to those who sort of said to those who sort of and I asked a question about, you know, what would you recommend, what advice would you give to people who were wanting to start out on YouTube and to start out, and the reply he gave was a very succinct one, and he said be consistent, but above all be honest. Be honest with your audience and be honest with yourself. That is a message that I deeply took to heart, and this channel for me, it is me. It is very much an expression of myself and my thoughts, my opinions. I know that there are lots of people who don't always agree with what I say, who, you know, think that they would do things differently. But at the end of the day, this is me. This is me being honest with myself and being honest with you as viewers. And I took that message on board from TB many years ago. And I've always still followed him, not as much as I have, not so much for a few years, but I still follow him. And he always inspired me with the fact that when his commentary was always genuine, it was always honest. He became a legend in the community, and he gave himself to the community. He gave every minute that he could of his day, his life, he gave to this community, to us as gamers. And he was a philanthropist. He was just an all-round good guy, and he has been one of the people who's truly, genuinely inspired me, and makes me want to be the best part of me that I can be, and to do the best that I can, and to take the first steps that I ever took into the larger world that is being on YouTube. So, yeah, it's very sad. It's a very sad and terrible day when I heard that, and we lost a great voice and a great and honest voice from our community that day. So yes, and one of the things is it's a hard thing to say much else than that, but it's, yeah, TV, just, you inspired me. Without your inspiration and your guiding words, I would never have gone as far as I have done. So thank you to the community, and thank you, John, for everything that you did for me and you did for so many other YouTubers and so many other content creators on this world. The family, friends of John's, of TB's, in Twitch and in the YouTube world, and the family have launched a GoFundMe, because one of the sad realities is that people seem to think that YouTubers have a glorious lifestyle. It's really not. There's not a lot of money in it. We do this because we love it. We do this because we have a passion for it. So if you wanted to help John's wife and their son, there is a GoFundMe program going at the moment to aid them with because there's a whole other conversation that we're not going to have about the American healthcare system. But if you would like to donate and offer to support them, I would say please consider it. I'll put a link in the description down below for this one. So, but yes, I just want to say it was tragic news. Cancer is an insidious, hideous thing. It genuinely is, and it has taken some amazing people from this world far too soon. But anyway, folks, that rounds up the NovaWrap for this week. Thank you very much for joining me. Don't forget, as always, to like the video and subscribe to the channel if you're enjoying these videos and want to see more. And of course, as always, you can catch up with me and all the things I'm up to between videos by finding me on Facebook and on Twitter. Just search NovaWing24. Alright, folks, thanks very much for watching. Take care, safe skies to all, and we'll see you next time. Bye for now.